औज़ुबिल्लाहि मिनश्शैतानिर्रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। नाज़रीन, थैंक यू वेरी मच। आप लोग देख रहे हैं इस्लामिक फ़ाइनेंस एंड प्रॉपर्टीज़। मैं आपका होस्ट अली काजी। जिस तरह मैंने आप लोगों को बताया था कि हम लोग कोशिश ये करेंगे कि हम लोग अपनी ही कम्युनिटी में से हर बिज़नेस पे जाएंगे और उनसे पूछेंगे कि किस तरह शुरू करा। लेट्स जस्ट आस्क देम देयर बैकग्राउंड और होपफुली इसी चीज़ के अंदर आपको मोटिवेशन भी मिलेगी। आज हम लोग बड़े ज़बरदस्त पर्सनैलिटी से आपको मिलाएंगे और बल्कि मैं तो उनसे पहली दफ़ा मिला हूँ लेकिन बड़ा इम्प्रेस हो गया उनसे ऑलरेडी। नाम आपका रिजवाना करीम है। रिजवाना, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर इनवाइटिंग अस ओवर। रियली रियली अप्रिशिएट इट।
You're most welcome. Thank you very much for having me.
It's a pleasure. Pleasure's all ours. So, Rizwana, obviously we're going to talk about your business. But before we talk about your business, what I want to really find out is who you are, what inspired you to do this, and we're going to try and evaluate कि किस तरह आपने ये सारा कुछ। तो पहले तो आप हमें बताएं कि are you from here, are you from England, or आप पाकिस्तान से कहाँ से आप हैं? अपना थोड़ा तारुफ करवाएं हमें।
Yeah, I'm originally from Pakistan.
Which part?
I was born and bred in Rawalpindi.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I was born in Rawalpindi. My parents are from Jhelum. My mom is from Jhelum.
Okay.
My dad is from Miyawali, but we never actually went to Miyawali. We've never seen, you know, how that part of the world is. We've never been there.
You say you're born and bred.
Yes.
Right, okay. So how old were you when you actually came to the UK?
I think I was 20. 20. Yeah, I would say about 20.
Okay. So you came over.
Yeah.
So just tell me a little bit about Pakistan as well. So Pakistan में आप क्या करती थी? Were you working? Were you obviously studying? What did you?
So I completed all my education in Pakistan. I was I was becoming a civil servant. So I was taking CSS exams. You know, that's a civil servant exams in Pakistan just before I got married. Before that, I did my master's in English literature from Punjab University. It's quite well-known university.
मैं यही सोच रहा था कि आपकी अंग्रेजी इतनी अच्छी है. Like, actually, I thought you were actually from around here somewhere.
It's got nothing to do with English literature. I can promise you that because we've had a lot of students in our campus, in our class, who barely could speak English. I don't think doing English literature or degree in English literature can actually make you speak English in a way without the accent, I would say.
Yeah.
When I came to the UK, I was told that I had a very slight accent. I did have an accent, but not really strong accent, how people would usually speak in English accent. But I think it's because I was crazy about speaking English. When I was born, I was little. My parents, I come from really humble, you know, background.
Okay.
My mum was a school teacher. My dad was working as a clerk in one of the, he's had like a government job. And I was really kind of fascinated by, you know, English movies and newscasters on TV, how they spoke English. I was really fascinated by this language. I always wanted to speak from a very young age.
Yeah.
And I couldn't because obviously I was born in Pakistan. Everyone's speaking Urdu around me and Punjabi and my mum put me in Urdu medium school. So up to the age of year 5, we were just learning A for apple, B for ball, C for cat, twinkle, twinkle, little star, you know, little poems and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like coming home and I'm just writing English phrases and I'm trying to practice and speaking. And it really is self-taught because I've never actually been to a really good private school or expensive schools or anything like that. So it was all kind of self-taught. So I just wanted to...
your dad was, you know, working in a sort of a department. Your mum was an English teacher.
No, she wasn't.
Okay.
No, she was an Urdu teacher.
Okay, she was an Urdu teacher.
Yes.
All right, okay. So obviously there is that thing about languages as well, isn't there? So, and then you were planning on doing your CSS, which is an exam that actually gets you into bureaucracy, really, doesn't it? So you were thinking of becoming that. Then what happened? So how did sort of suddenly the UK came about? What? Yeah,
I mean, my mum wanted me to get married quite young.
Okay. I think in those days they did. Although, you know, you're still very young. But
I was very young. I was in my early 20s. I think it's just suddenly that, you know, my mum, you know, found someone for me And she said, look, marriage shouldn't come in your way of not progressing things in your life. Marriage, we shouldn't see marriage as a hurdle. It shouldn't be the end of the world, end of the life, that, once you're married, you can't do anything, you can't progress. That's it.
That was never the thing.
That was never the thing. My mum said, look, I know you really kind of, you have that fire in you, that you want to do something in your life. I know you want to work, you want to, I can see that you've got a lot of dreams for yourself, but I can promise you that this man that I found for you, he's going to be a very supportive husband. He's going to be a very, very nice husband. At least meet him, see how things work out, and that's how.
Okay, tell me a bit about that as well. Obviously, an arranged marriage.
It was arranged marriage.
So you'd never met him. Yes. So did you speak to him before you actually tied the knot? Did you?
Just occasionally, just one or two occasions, but it wasn't something that was on my mind, or he knew. Probably he didn't know either that we're gonna be chatting about getting married. So it's just something came up, and
so it just came up. You said, right, okay, so I'll go ahead and marry this guy.
That's it. So we've had sort of a month to meet each other.
Get to know each other.
Yeah, get to know each other. Okay. So we thought we went out.
As you do, even you're getting to know each other.
Yes,
right,
obviously not on particularly dates, but
no. This is like
kind of like a family gathering.
Like
how it is.
Under supervision. Yes, under supervision.
I liked it. I mean, I didn't see any problems with it. It was kind of very much under supervision.
Well,
but
it certainly worked for you.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
My husband, he's a very nice man. We've been married almost 20 years now. We've got 2 children, and he is very supportive in that sense. That he's never stopped me from what I want to do. I'm a bit of a crazy person when it comes to that. I want to try different things. I've got this thing in me that, I always wanted to run my own business. I wanted to do my own thing. And nobody in my family, by the way, is an entrepreneur.
I was getting to that. I mean, where did you find the motivation? Where does this motivation come from?
I absolutely have no idea, if you ask me. Actually, saying that, when I was in school, really funny story, one of my teachers came to me. I think I was barely 14 or 13. One of my teachers, she said, we've got fun fair coming up, and I want to assign you a duty. I want you to bring something from home, and I want you to sell it for our volleyball team, because I was part of the volleyball team at the time, and we didn't have any resources to buy the net to go out to different schools and play, and so we needed some funds for that. So she said, I want to assign you this. I want you to make something from home, bring it, set up a stall, and I want you to sell it and raise this much funds. So she gave me a target. So I was thinking, I'm only 14, barely 13, 14 years old. My mom was really, really busy. She was a school teacher, and she didn't have time to help me. I just thought, okay, you know what? I'm just going to do potato patties. I'm going to make something. So I bought some potatoes, mashed it up, made like really nice recipe, followed the recipe from somewhere, from my auntie. And I took it and then they were supposed to provide me the stove and, all the rest of the stuff so I can actually fry the patties. But as we threw the fun fair, within 1 or 2 hours, the stove that they provided, it wasn't really kind of professional stove, so it just kind of stopped working.
Yeah.
And in the end, I'm left with a lot of like potato patty stuff and the pita bread, but I had nothing to cook on. So I'm just thinking, I asked one of the girls, I said, would you like it if I just pasted the patties on the pita bread and I just put some salad on it? I know it's not cooked, but it's still cooked because I've boiled and everything. Potatoes are cooked sort of thing, but it's just not fried. She goes, I don't mind. Would that be discounted price? I said, yes, it will be discounted price. But because I've just added some more spices in it and made it really nice, delicious, like a chatpata kind of thing, added some salad to it and made really nice patties, completely sold out.
Do you know what?
Completely sold out.
And that's actually quite interesting, because that must have been your first... But that's your first business venture, isn't it?
It was kind of a business venture.
Technically speaking, that was your first problem, which you actually resolved as well.
Yes.
So, rather than just giving up and saying, right, okay, well, ye nahi kaam kar raha, wo nahi kaam kar raha, ab mera khayal hai pack up karte hain.
Yeah.
So you actually innovated and came in and did what you did. Okay, good. So that was your first venture at the age of 13.
I think that was the first one.
And then obviously you got married at the age of 20. Then you came to the UK, is that right?
Yes.
And then what happened? So you came here, what did you do? I mean, सबसे पहले तो ये बड़ा life-changing sort of experience coming from Rawalpindi. Although Rawalpindi is quite a progressive city, but it's still very different from England, isn't it?
Very different. It's life-changing experience. You've come into a completely brand new environment, new country, new language. You don't know. I mean, even though I was married kind of within a family, but I still didn't know them. I never lived with them, and it's a life-changing experience. I mean, I really honestly understand how a person, when the whole environment changes around you, how difficult it is to settle in that environment, and it's really, really challenging.
And that's mostly with most sort of girls, they have to go through, and rather than I'm sure that the man also sort of adjusts and readjusts, just having another partner in his life, but it's more a woman, a new family, a new home, and it must have been quite overwhelming.
It is very overwhelming, and I think the best thing, what I've learned, what I've gained from it, since you've got to make compromises, I think it's best to just be willing to understand other people as well, not just hoping that other people will understand you and it will just go your way. I think the best thing to do is to take it easy, take one step at a time, and be very, very supportive of the other people as well as just.
तो सबसे पहले तो आप आई यहाँ.
Yes.
ठीक है. उसके बाद आपने अंग्रेजी सीखी.
Not really.
थोड़ी बहुत ही आती थी.
I spoke.
Okay, you spoke English, so you understood. But understanding the culture and the roads and everything else, and coming into then what happened? Where did you? What did you do?
Literally, I went into sales. The very first month, sales. I worked in sales.
That's a lot of talking. That's a lot of
Yes.
That's like a hustle job, isn't it?
But I enjoyed it.
And what kind of sales were you doing?
I really enjoyed it. So it was furniture sales I was in, and I worked in furniture sales for a very long time.
All right. Wow. Okay.
And because it worked for me, I think I was quite good. One of the managers, because I was the salesperson of the year. And
what, your first year, and you became the salesperson of the year?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So he was quite happy, quite impressed, and I was, it was working out for me because it was quite convenient job, and I think it was something that I was happy in as well, because something that I enjoyed.
Okay.
And,
so how many years did you do that for?
Oh, sales job I've done for about 15, 16 years.
Okay. And then what led you to sort of starting up, sort of your own business, or what happened in the interim? Because hang on a minute. Actually, you said something as well in regards to what else you did as well. I think you were actually you were in the general elections, you were actually sort of fighting for a seat as well for the Member of Parliament.
Yes, for Hayes and Harlington, yes. I was standing in Hayes and Harlington for this election.
Okay,
yes.
And that was from the Workers' Party, am I right in saying
Absolutely,
that? Okay, so what brought that about? Because that's again, so technically you started your life, 13, 14, business, kind of sort of thing, then you got married, or you were doing sort of as your CSS or getting prepared for a civil servant job, then you suddenly get married, then you come to England, then you do a sales job, and then you suddenly turn into sort of a politician.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see any subtle or gradual change here. It's kind of like boom, boom, boom.
Yes, it is. I think I've always had that politician thing in me. It's just that I've never officially became a politician.
Okay, so you had an interest in politics.
I'm very active in politics. I would love to know what's going around the world, what's happening, and it's quite nice. And I think person who's very interested in sort of civil services from very young age and taking a civil servant exam as well, that would be kind of your thing, it would be in you.
So basically you wanted to serve the people. I think that's pretty much how.
Yes.
So you're back of the mind, you're looking to serve people. And I understand, well, because we are going to talk about your business as well. So I understand how that is, sort of fitting into that. But, sort of all of these changes. Okay, so you stood up as a Member of Parliament. You're obviously an active activist.
Yes, you can say that, an activist.
Okay, and you're doing something for the community.
Yes. I've always been very active in my community. I've always, taken part in a lot of activities in terms of, helping women, finding jobs, finding a right career. If they need help with any paperwork, I would go out of my way to help them. So I've been living in Hayes and Harlington since I've come to the UK, and I think I'm known in my community for helping people. And I've done that out of, it's nothing to do with any selfishness or any, making myself, putting out there to be known or anything like that. It's just out of interest that I want to be able to do something for the people.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. And we need more people, more women, more men like you in our community. And I think that's quite motivational for all of us in terms of to hear something like this. I said, look, all of these separate things that you've been doing, but there's another. This is not your first time on television as well, is it?
No, it's not.
Because you were doing something on BBC. I think you, as a family, went on BBC. You were doing a cooking program or something.
Well, that's really crazy because I never had thought that I would be on BBC and doing something. I was at work, just a random normal day at work, and I've said to my manager by 12 o'clock, I said, can I go on my break? He said, yeah. I didn't bring my lunch with me, so I just walked down Broadway. Southall was quite close to my workplace, so I just walked down there. I went to one of these naan shops. It was a newly opened naan shop. Is quite a new concept. All sorts of naans like keema naan or naan
I've seen
or something.
Those. Yes, good business
and
as well.
It was quite new concept at that time. I think it was back in 2018. And there was one gentleman walked into the shop and he started talking to the shopkeeper, and he was giving some leaflets while I was waiting for my order. And I think the shopkeeper didn't really understand English, so he just ignored him. So he just turned around and he said, would you be interested in this? We're doing this cooking show.
And he was actually doing this in Southall, so he was looking for...
And it didn't have no mention of BBC on there. It just said the actual production company, some production company, Voltage TV, was on the leaflets. So I took it and I said, well, that's quite interesting. And then he just explained a few things about the show, and then he said, would you be interested? I said, well, yeah, it looks quite interesting idea. And then he took some details from me, and I just went back to work. And you know how you forget things. You just went home, picked up the kids from school and started cooking, cleaning. By 6 o'clock, he called me and he said, the deadline is 7 p.m. Have you registered? I said, oh my God, I completely forgot. He said, please, because the deadline is today's deadline. And we've got 600 families signed up for this show from the UK. So I would really like you to sign up for it. So I've just signed up, didn't speak to my sister-in-law, didn't speak to my niece. I just put their names down.
Did you have their names down?
And that's it. I sent it over. I said, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But then again, we were then selected. And then that's when I called my sister-in-law. She goes, stop it. Stop it. You did not put my name down. I said, yeah, I did actually.
Okay.
And then that's how it really is. From out of 600 families, they chose a set number of families, and then they went to their houses and see how they cooked. And that's where they came to our house. We actually cooked Moroccan-style salmon. And they liked it, they loved the flavors and everything. And then finally from there, they chose us to be on the show.
Okay. Great. Fantastic. All right. So, we've covered pretty much your background.
Yes.
Okay. So, I'm going to go on a quick break. नाज़रीन, एक छोटी सी ब्रेक के ऊपर चलेंगे. ब्रेक के उस पार मैं आपका फिर से इंतज़ार करूँ. बड़ी अच्छी गुफ्तगू हो रही है. तो please do definitely watch us. Thank you.